Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the Last Thought podcast. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the other person in here again. But I am here with Psychics, with Zane, Matt, and Cody.
Hello.
Hello.
So, has anyone else here heard about how PUBG is suing Fortnite over copyright infringement?
No.
I
get it, but no, I haven't heard that.
They've been talking about it for a while now, and now they're just finally doing it.
Yeah, they've taken down a couple of mobile games that have been out there.
Has PUBG even been the very first ever game to do that? Like,
no. No, PUBG is built off of an Arma mod.
Yeah, I was going to say, that can't be the very first. It couldn't have taken that long for someone to come up with something like that.
Although, how legal are mods, though, to be fair?
That's true.
Like,
however,
can you defend that in a court?
Yes, it's a public domain.
However,
Okay.
once you build something as a mod, and then you take it and develop it as your own creation and slap your own title and completely redo it, it's no longer a mod at that point. You've made your very own.
Yes, that's very true. You have made your own system, but if other people were to use that same mod and build their own system off of it, then that's their own system as well.
And how much can you copyright? Like, can Nintendo look at any 2D side scroll and be like, "Oh, that's too much like Mario. Get rid of that."
No, but it's more the systems in the game that can be copyrighted.
Yes, that can be copyrighted.
Like the fact that if you have a frying pan, even if you don't have it as your weapon, it'll act as armor when it's unequipped. Like that can be copyrighted.
Wow.
Yeah, just like
Really?
little tiny game things. Like other games can still use, say, a frying pan as defense if they want to. But for them to use it in the exact same way that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds uses it, they can't do that. Because in PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, a frying pan is, it's invincible. But in other games, you can use other things as, like a frying pan or whatever. But I mean, you can use other things as a defense, but they're not invincible like a frying pan is in PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Yeah, and it also helps their case that they're not doing this through the U.S. legal system. They're doing it through Korea's, which has much looser copyright laws than America.
How's that even work? What? Like, let's say they win. What happens to other countries then? Can they not sell it?
That's what some people are worried about, is what kind of standard that'll set in other countries for this.
Like, in all honesty, the most that would probably happen is if this does go through and say PUBG does win, which I don't think they can win. I don't think they will win.
I really doubt they're gonna win that.
They don't have enough to back them. It's like, you're suing another company because they're doing another battle royale. Which
if I remember, the analysis for it is like hundreds of pages long, I think.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a bunch of bullshit. But the whole thing is that if they do somehow win, then at that point, Fortnite would probably have to pay a fee, and then the worst that would happen, in my opinion, is the fee would be rather large, and they would have to pull out of Korea. And if they pulled out of Korea, they could still operate in other countries.
Well, Korea is a really large competitive gaming area, though, so they'd lose a lot of that.
Do they even play stuff like Fortnite?
esports?
I figured they'd be doing StarCraft and stuff.
I think there's some Fortnite, or I don't know about Fortnite, but I think there's some PUBG kind of stuff there, like the Battle Royale.
Huh.
But
yeah, I mean,
I could be
Battle Royale's been
wrong.
around forever. I mean, there was that Japanese movie that introduced it first. I think it was Japanese. There was a bunch of kids got dropped on an island. Well, they had to like last one living got to go home to his family. Pretty much everyone dies, and then there was a fucking Hunger Games. There was that, which was a pretty much knockoff off the Japanese movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then there was
written as a book first, though.
yeah, and then there was like, well, the other thing is like there was the Arma mods where DayZ came out of the Arma mods. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds came out of Arma mods. There's I'm trying to think of other games. There's been multiple other games that have come out of Arma, and those are all modded things of Arma. So at that point, like you're building your video game off of a mod, which is a community idea. So you can't copyright the idea because that's in a public domain at that point.
Yeah, but they're not. I don't think they're really trying to copyright the idea of the Battle Royale video game. It's like we said before, it's the little things that they're copywriting.
Yeah, but there's enough difference between the two that I think, because I mean, Fortnite, it has the whole building system involved, so that drastically changes the way the game is played.
Yeah.
Compared to Fortnite. I mean, not Fortnite, but PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds or PUBG.
I mean, so in that case, Minecraft should start suing Fortnite, right?
Yeah, because Minecraft always people would do the Hunger Game things in servers.
Oh my gosh, Minecraft just needs to sue everybody.
There's like that's the other
Minecraft
problem.
sued everyone.
That's the other problem with all of this is that if PUBG gets away with this, then that opens up a whole can of worms of who can sue who at this point. Can we sue these other games just because they share similarities with something else? Like how?
Yeah, the whole copyright thing is it's really scary when you start to think about the implications for what's possible if these people win.
Yeah, because like think of FPSs. So many FPSs are so similar, and the main thing that makes them different from one another is their story, not the gameplay, not the weapons, the story.
Yeah, but like once you get to like people say, oh well, we came up with the first idea of like Call of Duty was the first game I ever saw where you could pick up a grenade and throw it back. Now I see Far Cry 5. You can do that in Far Cry 5. What happens when Activision's like, well, let's sue Ubisoft.
There's a huge amount of systems shared.
Going in the same thread as what Matt just said. In turn for that, I believe Battlefield was one of the first boots on the ground realistic shooter. So in that case, they could then sue Call of Duty or Activision for Call of Duty.
I think Call of Duty came before Battlefield.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the first Battlefield,
came out first.
I think Medal of Honor came first.
Yeah, what about Medal of Honor? When did that come out? I feel like that was pretty old.
Well, I mean, what about Doom? It was the first FPS.
If we're talking about
Call of Duty, the first one came out in 2003.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, let's take this a step further.
Yeah, that came out in 2003, and the first
Battlefield beat it by 1 year. Battlefield.
Yeah.
I was beat you, Matt. Gotcha,
well,
bitch.
then in that case, freaking Pong should sue everyone for stealing the idea of taking a remote control and controlling something on a screen. Like,
no, there was games that did it before Pong, but
Pong wasn't even the first one.
Exactly. Like, how far back can it go? Like, if we're just thinking of this crap as just like people talking about it as fans, like, imagine how the actual minds of the actual people who are out to make money are thinking about it,
Now, if you think about it too, there's also some fan games that could in turn shut down the originals. Like, take FNAF, for instance, Five Nights at Freddy's. There's a fan game made before Five Nights at Freddy's sister location where you were running around a house in free roam trying to avoid the animatronics. So, since they came up with that idea first, technically they could sue Five Nights at Freddy's sister location for the free roam aspect.
At that point, though, the FNAF, it's building off the FNAF storyline, so they don't have a case good enough there for that one, even in any country.
But that's the kind of slippery slope we end up getting to when we're talking about stuff like this.
You need to also think it doesn't necessarily matter. Sadly, in this world, it doesn't matter who had the idea first. It matters who has more money, a bigger fan base. Back in the 70s, Led Zeppelin, everyone knows the song "Stairway to Heaven," right?
Yeah,
I've heard about this.
The song "Stairway to Heaven," their acoustic intro, is literally there's another band I cannot remember the name for the life of me right now. I'm sure if I looked it up, I could find it. But there's another band who has the exact guitar intro, and they tried to sue Led Zeppelin. And here's the thing. It's not one of those if you're into music at all, it's not one of those things where it's it's the same 4 chords we used, where it's so generic that you can't prove anything. It's such a unique sound, such a unique guitar instrumental that there's no way Led Zeppelin didn't steal it from them and copy it. But Led Zeppelin was the bigger band. They had more money. They had more fans. They were more popular. So in that case, Led Zeppelin won the lawsuit. And I
think that's the exact point. It's usually this kind of stuff. It's usually who has the most lawyers and who has the most money. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong.
So that's my thing is though, is that I don't think that this is going to win just because.
I mean, it's Epic Games. I don't think that even if they were right, let's just say it was a complete ripoff. I honestly don't think they could beat Epic Games.
Yeah,
they're
Epic
just too
Games
big.
Well, I understand that Epic Games is too big, but they've been going after very, very small groups at this point. Fortnite is the first larger group they've been going after.
That's an understatement, considering how
I know
large
Fortnite's
the
probably
game's
bigger
gotten.
than PUBG by now, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it has to be,
I believe it's the most searched video game on the internet at this point.
Yeah, so my whole thing is though is they have a lot of money right now. They can actually put up a fight against Epic Games for this whole situation.
I always hear about this. Sorry, go on.
Well, that's why they're going to Korea, because they think that in Korea they have a shot, but at the same time Fortnite has enough money backing it that it's not going to be an easy fight. They're going to lose a lot of money on this, I think. Even if they win, they're still going to lose a lot of money, and they're going to lose a lot of credibility as well.
It's just stupid.
They're going to piss off a huge fan base if they win, and if they don't win, then they're going to lose money. So, I don't see how they're going to come out on top on this situation. Cause it's not
if they win, what's, the most ideal thing? What do they want out of this?
I think they just want, they want to be the top. They want to be the only one. They want to win the Battle Royale. They want to be the last one standing.
So, in the most ideal world that, it was.
So my question is, what does this have to what's this going to do for Battlefield's upcoming?
Call of Duty's doing it too.
One are they?
Yeah, they're both doing it.
Yeah, they're both doing it. So
you definitely couldn't fuck with EA and Activision. They wouldn't.
Oh no, they would.
They would put Epic Games under.
Yeah, and
yeah,
they would shut down the whole studio.
Well, here's the thing. If we're shutting down game modes, then we might as well get rid of every single video game since Halo, even before then, a team deathmatch.
Actually, the only time I've ever seen...
back to Quake, then.
Yeah,
the only time I've ever seen, a game mode type thing ever get, locked down by a company is Namco. They patented having mini-games and loading screens. So... they're the only ones who can do that. So you never can play Tetris or something on a loading screen because Namco patented it and you're not allowed to do it.
That's
It's the only time I've ever seen it. Yeah.
Fuck Namco.
And I think it just ran out a couple of years ago.
Guess I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
because
It's because it was only Namco
Namco can do
games.
it, yeah.
They're not allowed. You're not allowed to do it.
Wow, that's
Eventually that patent will go away, and then people will start doing it again.
I'm almost certain it already ran out. Let me
well,
look.
like Warframe. On Warframe, you can wiggle the ship around as it's loading. That's kind of
Doesn't
a
count.
mini game.
That's not a mini game. That's just an
Oh.
animation.
That's why most games get around loading screens by giving people text and like Skyrim is a good example of this. It'll give an image that you can play with, that you can move it around and look at. You can give a 3D model, and then it'll give you text to like read.
Yeah, it ran out in 2015.
Okay, so people can start doing games and loading
Halo
screens again.
Infinite better have like that. You know how Halo has those like top-down shooting games? They better have those in the loading screens in Halo Infinite.
Yeah, because Namco would do stuff like you could play like Space Invaders on a loading screen. Like other games weren't allowed to do that.
Well, fuck them.
I know, like dicks.
So, side story. Okay, I'll do the first rabbit train. So, I don't know if you guys heard in recent news, there was a factory here. I live in Massillon, Ohio. Here in Massillon, Ohio, there was a factory that was just raided by the ICE. I guess it has something to do with immigrants and stuff like that. And they arrested a bunch of illegal immigrants who didn't have green cards, and I've seen this factory before. There's no racism. There's lots of like Mexican, Hispanic looking people that work there. And they all live in like this little town that I call it. Everyone calls it like a little town. They call it Little Mexico. Right across the street. So during shift change for the factory, if you try to drive down that street, you're gonna run over a bunch of people because everyone's just running across the street during shift change. Well, they just arrested a bunch of people in that factory, and today I was scrolling through my Facebook, and the factory is called Freshmark. So I'm scrolling through my Facebook, and I just see all these ads all over. Freshmark now hiring. Freshmark, we have new positions available. It's just like, oh,
That's like
I get it.
when you go to like a Chinese
It's funny.
buffet and the people who work
Buffet?
like this
Buffets.
buffet.
Buffet. What the hell,
Buffet.
dude?
Okay, well, now that's-
Sorry.
That's two words Cody's not allowed to say. Buffet and butt.
Yeah.
Go on.
Then you in like the front counter people are like Chinese and the waitresses are Chinese, but then like the kitchen staff are all Mexican. Like that's authentic
really?
right there. Yeah. Oh, you never
Well,
seen
no.
that?
No, I just think it's really funny that like I was just laughing at the fact that as I was on Facebook today, I saw all the ads for Freshmark now hiring, Freshmark now hiring. We have new positions available because like hundreds of people just got arrested for being illegal immigrants there. And now that's what. Okay, so like I'm going around yesterday and I see this helicopter in the distance towards that area. Like I feel like a couple helicopters. I'm wondering like, what those helicopters are doing, and now I realize it's probably like news coverage for the arrests. Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, sorry, rabbit trail. We can get back onto more important things. Story.
I don't know how to like top that story though.
It's not that great of a story.
Well, I mean, it's
You
an
don't have to-
interesting story though,
Yeah,
nonetheless.
it's interesting. Let's look at links. What do we have to talk about? Do. So.
I was kind of trying to see where Matt goes after this.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
What
as
do
well.
I have? Do I have to make it connect?
Yeah, then do the
Can I
next
just, like,
subject.
can I
Yeah,
just
yeah, the
chop?
next subject.
Do I have to chop? Can I just like edit, chop? Brand new subject, or do I have to? Okay,
No,
so,
you have to. We're keeping all
So
this
in a world where illegal immigrants are slowly becoming arrested, we move fast forward to the year 2077 about cyberpunk. So how does that?
Yeah, dude. What's
That
this
was a
article we
hell
got
of a
here?
transition. I will give you that.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Let's go.
Mexicans have gotten bionic legs to jump over Trump's new fence.
It's not a fence at that point.
Fence,
It's
whatever,
like a-
border,
That's
wall,
fucked up.
whatever the hell it's gonna be.
We're all horrible people.
Oh God.
Woo!
Speaking of Cyberpunk, though, I'm actually going to play some Distance. It's a electronic. It's a very cyberpunk kind of racing game, and I'm just going to play that in the background while we talk.
Oh, like freaking! Have you guys ever played F-Zero X? Does anybody know what that game is?
I know what
F-Zero
F-Zero is. Which one's X? I don't think I played
It's
that one.
the Nintendo 64 one.
No, I never played. I don't even know why I asked because I never played any of them. I just know what they are.
Oh,
Yeah, I've never played it either.
oh, it's really cool. You guys should. Also,
Why don't you talk about it a little bit?
what, F-Zero X?
It's
Okay,
racing.
so like, imagine Mario Kart, only like instead of like cartoony Mario characters, you've got like these super buff Street Fighter looking people, but all they do is drive cyberistic, future looking cars around tracks in space. That's basically all it is, and it's got really sweet 80s Top Gun style soundtracks.
Wait,
Oh my
what is
God.
this?
It's called
F-Zero.
F-Zero X.
You ever play
Oh.
Smash Captain Falcons from F-Zero?
Yeah.
I think that's like the only thing people know about F-Zero is Captain Falcon, just because he's in Smash. Like they probably even know he's in from like they probably think he's just a Smash character.
See, I played F-Zero X, and I didn't even know that Captain Falcon was from the F-Zero franchise.
Rip Captain Falcon. Oh my god! Actually,
You just like blew my mind. I'm gonna go back and go play it. Like, holy crap! Get my N64 out, plug in F-Zero X, and just like, oh gosh, it's Captain Falcon! Holy crap!
that's like when everyone thought Samus was a guy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It, like blew everyone's mind.
I was watching this crazy video about transgenders in the video game industry,
Uh-oh.
and I don't know.
Careful,
I don't
Matt.
know why I was.
Yeah, be careful
I know.
about
I know.
this.
I don't know why I was. The only thing that upset me about it was the fact that it wasn't actually talking about any transgenders. He's like, the first instance we have of a transgender in video games is what did he say? And I can't remember the actual first instance, but it's like the first notable instance was when we found out that Samus was actually a girl. I'm like,
It's
that
not.
doesn't count.
Yeah, that would be,
That-
if she was identifying if she was a
That's
guy.
mistaken identity, not transgender.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was talking about it was another Nintendo one. It was a Yoshi character. It's the pink looking.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's actually a
Birdo.
dude.
Yeah, but that doesn't count either because that's just he wants to be a girl. He thinks he's the girl, you know. And then, does anybody who here has played Final Fantasy VII?
I've seen enough of it. I never actually played it.
Zane has definitely played it. I know that. Zane.
Yeah,
you
I played
remember-
Final Fantasy VII.
We played it recently. They were talking about that scene where Cloud has to dress up as a girl to try to swindle the
Oh, I've heard about that.
crime lord, and they were saying that was a transgender scene. I'm like, that's not transgender.
That's
just
cross-dressing.
doing-
That's
That's
cross-dressing.
just cross-dressing to do what you have to do. Like, and it's just like they didn't have
I'm
any
mad at it.
like, and he was like the guy girl that was talking. Like, so many like strong cases for how long transgender has been in video games. And I'm just thinking like, none of these are actually transgender. Like,
Because
I
Cloud
don't know what to tell you.
Cloud didn't identify a girl. He actually even got made fun of by
Yeah.
the other
Later
people
on in
around
the
him.
game, they were making fun of him.
And then Samus was mistaken identity. Yeah, because I mean they did
Because
kind of
that was
they did
just a
kind of
twist.
do that on purpose though, because even in the manual it referred to Samus as a he.
They did that on purpose just to trick the thing.
Well, because she was
And
like
then,
the first. She was the first real like female,
Yeah.
Protagonist.
protagonist.
And they didn't even like. Maybe if they tried to make her less feminine, but like once you found out she was a girl, like, have you seen pictures of Samus today? I almost said salmon. Have you seen pictures of Samus today? She's like a chick. She's a chick. And there's nothing like transgender about her. At no point has she actually been a dude. I don't think. So I don't know.
No, the only case of this ever happening was in the first Metroid game. What happened is when they released it, she was going to be like the first female protagonist, but they didn't really want to detract from the game because they weren't sure how people were really going to handle it yet. This was a while back. This was a while ago, so
Yeah.
I mean that's just how it was. So they in the manual they referred to her as a he, and even in like dialogue they would sometimes say he,
Yeah.
just because she was a very in Japanese culture, like sometimes you can refer to people as there is a gender identity kind of thing going on there, and so if you're a very masculine person, sometimes people refer to you as a guy, just because the way you are. And Samus is a space is incredibly powerful and incredibly respected, and she is a soldier through and through. So people are referring to her as a he. So at the end of the game, you find out that it's actually a girl, and that was the very surprise thing. But this also this helped with their it helped with getting the name out there. It helped with like everyone knowing about it and all this other stuff. So Metro became very popular because of this whole situation that they played. It was a very good marketing scheme in my opinion. But then after that, they were always just like, yeah, that's a girl. Like they never tried that again because they're like, well, she is a girl and she has always been a girl and that's just how it is. We did this the first time because we weren't sure how other people were going to handle it, and it was an interesting marketing scheme. That was it. Yeah. Not because she was transgender.
Plus, it's one of those things where if you tried to do it again, it wouldn't have the same impact.
Because everybody already knows. Like,
yeah, you've already done it once with one character, so if you try to do it again with someone else, it's not really going to work. Not with the same impact, anyways. Now, branching off from this very interesting topic of genders, that's definitely not going to get us in trouble.
Because we didn't say anything wrong. At least I don't think we did. I mean, it's very hard to tell. All right.
Let's move on. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Okay. I'm extremely excited for this.
I'm not huge on the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, me either, to be honest. I've kind of jumped off the bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm going to jump off the bandwagon and into my kitchen, but I'll be right back, okay?
Alright. Cody, I'd actually highly recommend at least trying Origins if you get the chance, because they pretty much revamped the whole game.
Do they still have the boats? The boat stuff was driving me nuts. I hate that.
The boat?
Yeah, Black Flag, Rogue, whatever. 3 did it a couple times.
Not like that, no.
God, I hated the boat sections. I know everybody loved that shit, but I hated that. I did not come for ship sailing.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. That kind of stuff comes with a pirate game. When you're talking about an Assassin's Creed game that's centered around pirates, there's going to have to be...
I mean, I get it in like Black Flag. That's why I didn't buy it. You know, everyone says it's like the best one, but I know what to expect. So I
really did enjoy that one. But no, Origins is like a revamp on the entire series. So I'd highly recommend at least giving that a shot. In my opinion, it's the best one since like 2.
I'm so far behind on the whole storyline of Assassin's Creed.
They don't really have, ever since 3, they don't really have anything to do with each other.
That's the thing about Origins, though, is it's a prequel to the whole thing. It's how the Assassin Order actually came around. You get to see both the Assassins and the Templars start, basically.
And then the Templars go on a crusade and kill hundreds of thousands of people. We can see that part?
Not in this one, no.
Damn it.
Maybe in a future one.
Massacre of Jerusalem.
Wasn't it the first game?
No.
Actually, it kind of was, yeah.
I mean, that just sounds like a description of the first game. I don't know much about the franchise, but I know the first game.
Yeah, because you were actually fighting the actual Templars. And I just said actually too many times.
You actually did.
Oh my god, I remember in Assassin's Creed 3, the final chase scene where you had to fight, what the hell's his name? That fucking Charles, whatever the hell. I gotta look up what his name was. You have to, like, chase them through, like, burning buildings, and you cannot fuck up. If someone, like, bumps into you when you're running through a crowd, you're fucked. He's gone. He's got, like, rocket boots on. It's such bullshit.
Yeah, like, that was insane.
Like, I'm supposed to be, like, an athletic sass. Can't I catch this asshole? Like... ridiculous. And I'm almost certain he gets away. You kill him in a cutscene later. Like, you don't even catch him.
Oh, so like you can't let him get away, but he's scripted to get away later on.
Yeah, it's that bullshit. Where like you can't die in the game, but there's a cutscene. Not in the game, but it's like in a game where you can't die anytime in the game, but in the final cutscene you die.
Like freaking. Oh, do you remember in Halo Reach that final mission?
Yeah.
Oh, And I was like trying so hard to live, and then I started to die. I'm like, no, I'm dying. I don't know how to win the mission. It turns out you win the mission by dying.
Yeah.
That I still say that was my favorite game of the Halo franchise, and that was
Charles
amazing
Lee, that's his
ending.
name.
It was one of the best.
Well,
yeah.
Zane, once you get your Xbox, I don't know what that was. I stuttered. Once you get your Xbox,
That was not stuttering. That was not stuttering. I don't know what the hell that was. That was not stuttering.
See, I just wasn't gonna comment on it. I was just gonna let it lie and act like I didn't hear anything. Like, that was my whole plan. Like that sounded like it sounded like a rat was like trying to like eat someone's like face or something.
So, oh my god. So the new Assassin's Creed's like an RPG, you said?
Yeah, well, they're all RPGs, but this one goes like full RPG with choices, dialogue options. There's consequences for your whatever choices you make, and you can even in this one finally, which is where the genders come in, pick between a male or a female protagonist.
Oh, so like BioWare bought the franchise, basically. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's still a freaking Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
Can you have sex while your teammates then?
Yeah.
I don't know if they went that far.
Oh.
Although it is set in Greece, so
So orgies are not unheard of.
So I believe it was the Romans or was it the Greeks? I can't remember. But there used to be a flower that, if consumed through like water, like if you made a tea out of it, it would act as a birth control. And one of them, I can't remember which one, but one of them ran that plant to extinction.
That's awesome.
It doesn't exist
Yeah.
anymore because of them.
I know what you're talking about.
Wait, this isn't mythology. This is actual history.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is a real thing.
That's
There
awesome.
used to be a plant that you could like drink as a tea and it would act as a birth control. And
I was wondering, how did we learn about this? Did they like actually write that down? Like, yeah, we hunted these plants to extinction. We fucked up.
well, I mean, the Romans have catalogs of a lot of the animals they ran to extinction throughout through the Colosseum and stuff like that. So there were some catalogs and stuff, and
I have something. Okay, sorry.
yeah,
go
so
on.
they just ran the plant to extinction. It doesn't exist anymore.
For the love of me, I can't remember what it's called.
No, I've got something really cool to talk
Matt,
about.
say it.
Okay, have you guys heard that Donald Trump?
Don't.
Let's start
Don't.
We'll
Oh,
come
God.
back to this.
with the freaking
we-
space.
We can't let Matt talk anymore. He's
No,
talking about
we'll
too
go
much
in like in 10 minutes.
controversial
We'll hold
stuff.
off until we're done with Assassin's Creed. We'll come back.
Okay.
We're gonna be. It's gonna be like a 20-minute tangent.
Okay,
Alright.
go
We
on.
can't do
Continue with the
politics.
flowers.
We can't do politics on this.
No,
unless
it's not
we're
politics.
No.
It's not politics. Zane,
podcast.
trust me, it's not politics.
Trump
but
is a
it involves
Cheeto.
Donald Trump.
What?
Okay. Okay. Donald Trump has announced that the United States is going to open a branch of the military as a space branch.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
Wait,
Oh,
that
God.
actual thing?
Yeah, they're doing. Do you remember when Ronald Reagan did Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
This is Donald Trump's version of Star Wars, pretty much, is the best way to put it. But he's
Only
actually
he's,
doing
like,
it.
Actually
That's
doing
pretty cool.
soldiers and not just like space.
What are they even
going
gonna be doing up there?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. Like, does he know something we don't know? Like,
Yeah.
Just wait 2 more years and we'll hear. Oh yeah, there's aliens out there and they've been trying to invade us for a few years
Wait,
now.
well, what happened? What happened to the What happened to that? What was that one game? What was that Call of Duty game that you got to fight in space?
Advanced
Ghost.
Warfare?
I think it was Ghosts.
Yeah, we're heading towards that apparently. That's what we're heading towards.
like now, is it like a preemptive thing against aliens, or is it like a preemptive thing about our nations fighting over the moon? Like, what on earth?
Why would you want the moon? There's nothing there.
There isn't.
The
if we
moon
want-
can't
if we want-
belong to the.
If we want resources, we'd go to Venus or
Yeah,
Mars
or Mars or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's-
I don't know, but like, what's the point of it? I just don't. Is it like the UNSC? Are we expecting invasion? Are we gonna like literally? We don't want to. We want to fight wars with countries, but we don't want to destroy the Earth anymore. So we're all just going to go to the moon to fight our wars. Like that's the only.
That'd be sweet.
like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? Like, I don't know.
Actually, the moon would be a pretty shitty place to fight.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
there's no cover.
like we would have to develop laser guns too. And
No,
this
we
is how
wouldn't.
Star Wars
You can do
begins.
kinetic bullets.
Like
You can do
actual-
railguns.
Ooh.
That's actually the one thing that if they said like if we actually ever went to space, the most plausible weapon would probably be railguns. They even showed that like here's an example of this.
Okay.
So a while ago, quite a long time ago, I can't remember. It was the United Nations signed a contract with all the countries that you're not allowed to put nuclear weaponry in space pointed at Earth. You can't do it. It's not allowed.
Why not?
So instead, Russia and America they both have this system.
Oh, the kinetic rods.
The kinetic
I believe they're
rods.
called.
That if they
What is
drop
that?
from space, they're not propelled or anything. They're just dropped. And if they drop from space, they carry enough kinetic energy to wipe New York off the map.
Yeah.
No.
And there's nothing you can
That-
do.
that-
We have not
that's-
figured out a way to stop them yet. If they start falling, we have, as of right now, the only way we have to stop that from happening is if we bomb the satellite before it gets one off. Because as soon as one drops, nothing can stop it.
Why am I?
Yeah,
When did they make
that's
these? Why am I just now hearing about
That's
this?
exactly what you see in the very beginning of Ghosts, Call of Duty Ghosts, and it's like the main thing throughout the story.
Yeah, no, those exist.
That, you mean like they're not in plan? They are actually up there.
They're up there right now. They
That's-
actually.
When did they put
terrifying.
those up there?
They put
How did I
them
not
up there,
see
like,
that? Why?
They
How
put
did I
them
not
up
see
there,
them
like
putting those
30
up?
years ago, I think, or something like
Shut
that.
up, Cody. 30 years.
They've been up there for a while. They were put up there. I believe they were actually put up there during the Star Wars situation.
Fuck, dude.
To be fair, it's not a complicated system.
No.
No, but it's
The most
definitely, like,
complicated
the
part
easiest
of it is the
loophole.
targeting.
It's like the most. It's just like you can't put nukes in space. Okay, we won't put nukes in space. Basically, puts a nuke in space.
Well, I mean,
What
at
the
the same
fuck?
moment, like they could just, if they wanted to, they could just knock the satellites out of orbit. That would cause huge destruction across the entire planet.
So, like, why is the United Nations okay with that, but not the nukes? Is
They're
it
not. They just
because-
don't really have a way of stopping it. Because two of
they
the
are-
greatest powers in the world are saying, no, we have those. I think China even
Russia's-
has one.
Russia's gonna glass the
Now,
Earth.
see, the thing too is it's not nuclear, so whatever damage is caused by it, there will be no
That's
fallout
true.
from it.
It
Yeah,
would just
so-
be the-
It's more like a
and-
volcano going off than anything else.
Yeah,
Still
it's more
don't
just
want to
like-
get like kinetic
I don't
rod to death.
I don't want to get.
You
I don't,
wouldn't
get, I don't
know,
want a
you'd
giant
just be
kinetic
dead.
rod shoved
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
ass.
that's
No,
There
thank
would-
you.
There would be no, oh, I just got hit by a kinetic rod. It'd be like, oh, I just ceased existing.
Yeah, no, it'd be
Yeah.
instantaneous. You would not exist anymore.
How big are they?
Yeah,
Hold on. Like, let me.
Like,
Google this.
like how like wide are these things?
All right, let me look
Long.
up the kinetic rods.
I don't think they're very big. I don't think they have to be.
What if
very
you're like the
big.
one guy who got impaled by it? Where he went,
Yeah, like-
I mean, you wouldn't be around long enough to know what the hell happened to you.
Kinetic bombardment.
actually, going back to sad screen.
Oh, they're in World War II.
Yeah.
Fuck! How'd they come up with that in World War II?
Have you guys ever seen like the type of weapons development that took
Oh, no.
place during World War II? Is
Oh yeah.
it's psychotic. Like some of the stuff they came up with in World
Is-
War II, just the minds of today wouldn't be able to do it. It is ridiculous because
Was
it
that when they
world-
came up with like the gay bomb? Where their plan was like, I don't know, I don't even think they actually ever made it, but the plan was like they're gonna drop a bomb on the enemy, and they're all gonna turn gay, so they'll be too busy fucking each other to focus on the fight.
No,
that's
I think
amazing.
that bomb. They developed a system of bombs filled with bats, but they weren't fruit bats. They were like they were, but no, and I might be wrong. These bats all had incinerary timed explosives on them. So what was supposed to happen?
Oh dear God.
They dropped the bats into the towns, and the bats like all nested in all the homes and just made the town their habitat. And then a few days later, the bombs were timed to go off. That
That's
was like
awesome.
an actual. I think that was developed by America.
That's
don't know
a
if that
stupid
was-
plan too. But I also like the gay bomb thing because like it's under their assumption that like gay people are like these sex crazed maniacs who won't even care if you're shooting at them.
Yeah, I know.
Like I don't know, unless it's like something like It also
Jesus
makes them like
Christ.
crazy and not care.
So this is going to be a controversial podcast, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so here we go.
Well, no, wait, go back real quick, Zane. While we're on the like weird stuff, going back to the transgender thing into our current conversation,
Whoa,
there were tons of plots on Hitler's life. I'm sure everyone knows this. There was one in particular where the plan was to get like one of his servants to be trusted by him, to be like they were supposed to get a spy to get into the point where he was like a servant. And every time he gave Hitler a drink, he would spike the drink with a little estrogen. So eventually, this is true, Hitler would become so filled with estrogen that he would start to develop breasts, and he would become really weak and dainty and just pathetic, and he'd be easier to kill.
Well, why not just drop like a cyanide capsule? If you can spike his drink, why
Right?
just fuck around with estrogen? Like,
I don't think they ever got to the point where because the whole idea about it was because after Hitler died, someone else could just take place. They wanted to demoralize the entire army.
Okay,
Like,
so
yeah,
here we go, guys.
A lot of things. How big are they?
all right, here we go. So the system described in the 2003 United States Air Force report. Apparently, these were built around the time of the Vietnam War, and they're referred to as the rods from God. They're made out of tungsten. They're 20 feet long, or in 1 foot in diameter, and they reach an impact speed of Mach 10.
So yeah, they're not huge. They're really long, but they're not
And that thing can wipe out New York. Something that's like not even big at all.
All right, so the Mach 10 has a kinetic energy equivalent of approximately 11.5 tons of TNT or 7.2 tons of dynamite.
You gotta keep in mind, Mach 10, I believe, is supposed to be 10 times the speed of sound.
Yeah, the mass of such a cylinder of itself is greater than 9 tons, so the practical application of such systems are limited to those situations where its other characteristics provide a clear and decisive advantage.
Holy crap! I can't wrap my head around that. Like, does that mean what? Is there something? Are they like engineered in a way to help them reach that speed?
No, they're just dropped. But the thing is, though, is
It's
that
aerodynamics, basically.
and the other thing is, though, is that they can't be detected. No infrared, like no sensors. They have like nothing. Like if they're dropped,
They move too fast.
you can't stop them.
That's the problem. If they moved slower, you could detect them from infrared because of the heat from entering the atmosphere, probably, but they move way too fast.
Like, holy crap! Like, wow! I don't know why that's like. This is wow. That's literally all I can say about that is wow.
They exist.
They're like Owen Wilson. Wow.
Like I said, if you got hit by one of these things, you wouldn't have enough time to know what happened.
The main reason why they don't use it that often, the reason why they don't really ever use it in war, is because they can use a bomb that weighs less than it, and it takes less energy to takes less effort to fire, because you have to get the thing up there in space, and it takes a lot less energy to fire and anything like that. They can just use a bomb instead, a warhead, and it'll do just as much damage.
Wait,
yeah.
But the thing about a warhead is it can be detected. We still have no way of stopping these.
Well,
I guess unless we use the giant laser on what battleship? There was a battleship that had a giant fucking laser on it.
That's awesome.
they called that the Death Star. That's from Star Wars. I think you're getting confused because that system was called Star Wars. But Star Wars is also a movie franchise with lots
Matt,
Actually, Matt,
stop now.
it's taken place a long time ago in a galaxy far away, so you can't prove that never happened because you didn't see it.
You're right. Like, what if we space exploration and then we like visited like a galaxy that we found that was far, far away, and like Tatooine was there, and we found like the reminiscence of the Death Star just float. Like, what would you do?
Alderaan just floating there.
I would start praying to Lucas. Like, that's what I would do.
Where's that George guy? Come here, George. Come here.
But no, alright, so apparently we do have lasers that shoot down drones now as well. But they can only shoot down drones, which is really upsetting.
do they like do military drones or like civilian drones? Like you're just flying a drone in the park? Ha ha ha.
All right, so
No.
all right, let me see here. A key step to eventually scale up to a megawatts worth of power, which can burn through 20 feet of steel in a second. What? So our Navy has this.
But wait, you said how long does it take to charge up?
It's a megawatt, which is a huge amount of power. But
Yeah.
right now, the best we can do, it looks like, is to the public eye. The best we can do right now is shoot down maybe a fighter jet and like drones and shit.
How long does it take to charge? Did you say? You said it took a while to charge, or did I hear?
I didn't hear you say anything about it taking a while to charge. I have no idea how long it takes to charge. It's a laser. It probably takes no time at all to charge. It's just a matter of shooting.
I mean,
it.
they'd probably get around that by having it hold a charge.
Constant.
Yeah,
Right.
have it hold a constant charge for the first shot. Then
Yeah,
it might
'cause I
take
was
a
gonna
couple
say,
seconds after that.
If it takes too long to charge, it'd be hard to shoot down a drone. Drones are,
And apparently, it costs $5,000 per shot.
I don't doubt it. That much energy.
Why
Yeah.
do we need these things? Like, I understand we want to just make sure we're safe.
Well, I mean, they're
When you
trying
ever-
to. The military is trying to include AI into war as well.
No,
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 no, no.
Yeah, it's the
No.
it's the
No.
it starts with an
That's how
M.
you get. That's how you
What's
get
it called?
Skynet.
What's it called?
Yeah, for real, exactly.
Remote controlled robots, okay. AI controlled robots, no.
Not
Yeah, so they
okay.
wanted to.
Not good.
So they wanted to actually add AI that was capable of scanning through videos and figuring out information from videos at real time, super fast. So
No,
that
okay.
they could,
Okay,
could-
let me ask this. Does the AI just process the information, or does it control things?
so that was the problem.
Oh.
Is that what was being said was that it would only process information so that we could free up people to do more important jobs. However, they wanted to put some of these AI into drones to map
No.
out areas, and
That-
also some of these drones could carry payloads.
Yeah, no.
No, thank you.
Is that the Marvin? What is it?
Why don't we ever get a voice in this? Why would they just do all this crap without asking us? Like,
Because
us
it's the
four
military.
specifically, not the public. Not the public. You, me, all four of us four guys. We need to tell them what to do because we have more experience than them.
We do.
We have more experience because we
Listen,
play video games.
I watch.
Exactly.
I watch iRobot. I've read the wikis. I know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about.
And I've used a drone before. I played Ghost
No,
Recon,
see,
so-
what they need to do is make remote-controlled robots where someone can sit behind a desk and they can just put video gamers there and just have them play it like it's a game.
You know that's a thing, right?
I mean, they do. Yeah, they do have like
not-
robots that
I-
use game controllers.
I don't think it's to the extent that I'm talking about
No,
here,
it's
though.
not, but it's a thing.
I know they do that with... Isn't that like what they do with like bomb defusal bots and shit like that?
Kind of.
I don't know if it's bomb defusal, but
There is a I don't know what branch of the military is it. There's a place that has a room that's gonna be very vague. Forgive me. There's a branch of the military that has a room that has actual screens with actual like game controllers that controls something on the battlefield somewhere.
Yes.
That is a thing. I don't remember the details at all, but I know it's a thing.
Oh, it's the Maven project, and Google's helping them. That was right.
what is this?
Come on, Google should have...
The U.S. military's project Maven is getting some
Google?
help using
Oh,
AI to
no.
interpret drone footage from a not entirely unexpected source, Google. And Google's also trying to get more government contracts because it's a lot.
Google literally is Skynet already.
Oh my
Um,
god, Google's gonna kill us all. I'm
Either
never
Google or
using
Disney's
again.
going to take over the
Yeah,
world.
actually,
I'm
Google-
never using Google again.
If I remember correctly, a lot of Google employees walked out, and also there was a huge petition and everything to not.
How to stop
this.
Google's inevitable creation of.
So guys, who's gonna take over the world? Apple,
How to
Google,
say the
or-
word inevitable.
Apple's not going to take over the world. Are you kidding me? They're a closed system.
Google is working on plans to prevent a Skynet situation.
Oh god.
So
Yes.
the biggest thing with AI is that AI is only as fallible as its creator, and its creator is humans, which is not a good. It's not very convincing. But the whole thing is, though, is that everyone talks about how Skynet will take over the world and kill us all and all this other shit. It's like, I don't think that will happen, just
Google-
because.
I mean,
Google
yes,
is taking the
but
first definitive steps to make sure that never happens. DeepMind AI Research Lab, owned by Google, has released a paper exploring the best ways to prevent self-learning machines from turning off the big red button. Humans might use them to turn off the big red button humans might use to shut them down. Of course, neither DeepMind or Google are referring to the paper safely irreputable agents as an anti-Skynet. The authors calmly not that learning machines are unlikely to behave optimally all the time. This is really poorly worded. In which case, a human might need to override it. What if the self-learning machine learns that it doesn't want to be bothered? It should just be disabled. Basically, what it's saying is they're finding a way to. It sounds like iRobot, where they're giving each. They're trying to find a way to make a code where they have to listen to everything. But iRobot's whole thing is like the whole thing about how like there was that ghost in the machine where one in every thousands of hundreds of millions AI don't follow that rule.
This is gonna be like the Space Oddity thing, where like I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh my
I'm sorry,
gosh,
I can't
okay,
let you
hold
do
on.
that.
Is that why Trump is?
He wants to prepare for the inevitable takeover of AI.
Oh my god!
Oh shit! It's all coming together.
We are screwed. I don't.
you know, the thing is though with the true AI, it's set to learn, and this is going back to Zane's comment about them being as infallible as their creators. A true AI is set to learn. So while yes, it will start as infallible as its creators, it could in turn end up surpassing us.
Yeah, but that's the thing,
In that
though,
sense.
is that what benefit? Because like everyone's talking about how if the AI will take over and kill all of humanity, blah blah blah. But my biggest question is that what benefit would that pose to the AI? What would the AI gain from wiping us off? If the AI actually did transcend us and became much better than us, then what's stopping it from just taking all technology, putting us back to the Stone Age, and leaving? It wouldn't have to kill us to destroy us. It could just turn off everything and leave. And we couldn't do anything about that because most of our weapon systems and all this other shit, they're hooked up to some sort of network. I mean, you can get around.
Because if it honestly had the best interest of mankind, which is like the cliche idea, it would that's probably what it would do. It would find a way to gather all our deadly resources and set us back to the Stone Age, because it would recognize there's no stopping these people from killing each other, but I can at least make it harder for them to kill each other. You know?
I mean, that's a method. But my other thing is like
whatever.
it could just assist us as well. It could help us get out to space. It could try. What it could do is it could try to change humanity at its core. It could try to make us more peaceful creatures, which is what we've been trying to do for the past like 300 years.
I don't think that's what we've been trying to do, Zane. I think we've just been trying to prove that we're right, which is a problem when every other person on the planet has a different idea of what is right.
No, Matt. War. Shut up, Matt. Matt, shut up. War
War has
has
changed.
war never changes, yeah. But anyways, war has greatly decreased in the world since World War II. There is still war in the world, but the amount of war that is happening is so far less than what it used to be. The amount of percentage of people dying in war, the amount of people percentage suffering from war, has decreased drastically from what it once was. It's still awful, and it's still terrible that it still happens. However, we have been working towards, because at our core, we have been a warring creature for thousands of years, and we're just now trying to stop doing that. What?
You and I were talking about this in the park the other day when I had that rod in my hand and I had to spear you in the chest with it. and we had that like really dark discussion about how like it would suck, but after a while, be like, oh well, I just killed Satan. Who cares? And I would
Yeah,
move on
you
with
get over it. But
it was a really weird discussion.
yeah, like it's so that's my thing though, is that humans as a race, we're still a warring creature. We've just started to acclimate to the fact that we don't have to fight for survival. We don't have to fight for our food. We don't have to do all this other shit. Whereas now we have other ways of getting all the resources we need through knowledge. And we're just acclimating to that now.
Maybe an AI should figure out how to materialize things we find on the internet. So that way we never run out of resources. So we can all have everything we want.
They're already working on being able to manufacture, like...
Meat.
Yeah, meat. Like lab-grown meat.
Organs,
No, I mean like...
artificial farming,
Really?
yes. There's all sorts of things like that, like where you can create all of these things that humans need now artificially, pretty much. I think we can actually, at the moment, it's still very expensive, but at the moment we can keep somebody alive for their entire life through artificial means.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait, I guess you didn't say
Now,
anything. All I heard was we can keep someone alive for their entire life. It's like, okay.
Through
What was the
artificial
second part of
means. Artificial, like through
okay.
artificial
See,
food.
I didn't hear that part. I just heard we can keep someone alive their entire life.
Now, my question is, you say you can keep them alive, but how healthily?
Yeah, like what's the quality?
Well, that's the thing.
Like-
It's like we're trying to improve that. As of now, we can't completely artificially create everything. Like we can't artificially create a seed. We still have to use the seed, and we can just
Yeah.
feed it nutrients and everything like that. And same with meat. We can't artificially create meat from nothing. We need cells from the original creature, and then we can create that from.
I mean, yeah, but taking some cells from a cow, we could just keep some cows and then take the cells from them and use them that way.
Exactly. Like we could just have.
It would be
Literal
much
meat
more
factories.
sustainable.
Yeah, we could have
Well,
literal meat factories.
But like, what's the like the freaking? Oh, and then they wouldn't need to hire new people for getting arrested by the border police.
What? Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Racist.
Don't-
Look at this.
We
Racist.
wouldn't need employees. Anyway,
Don't
Wait a-
do that.
what
So, name for this podcast, the controversial episode.
the
Oh my god,
controversial
this is
episode.
bad. This is
The last racist podcast.
The last.
No, because I have a feeling this isn't going to be the last time he says something like that.
I'm not truly racist. Just so we have it out there.
Matt just like straight up called me yesterday. He's like, you know, Cody, I think you're legit racist. Like,
What?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean-
it.
I mean, let's
Okay,
be
hold on,
fair.
hold
It's
on,
not
hold on, hold
racist
on.
when you hate everyone equally.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
right?
but Cody, if you're gonna message, why don't we talk about the core of this subject? Something that happened between you, me, and David on a nice little
Oh,
video game.
God.
no, this is private.
If you're gonna bring that up, we're gonna mention this. So we're playing the
Wait,
game.
are you
No.
talking about the Hunger Games thing?
Yeah, the
Yes,
survival
he
games.
is.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I don't think Zane's heard this.
So we're all just sitting there, and he's
Cody's
picking
going to
his
cut
character.
this out.
I will.
He's trying to pick his character, and he's looking at all the characters you can pick, and there's no like white Caucasian males. They're just not. They're all different skin tones except for just plain Caucasian or ginger or whatever. And then out of nowhere, we just hear Cody. It's like a dead silence in the chat as we're trying to pick what we're doing. We just hear Cody go, "Where's all the normal skins?"
Alright, that's pretty bad.
Listen, I can explain myself. Listen, I can explain it. There's no way to recover from this.
No,
What I
there
meant
isn't, dude. Just let it lie. Like, you're fucked up.
What I meant was like normal for me, like
Normal for
like
you.
no, I don't mean like they're abnormal. I meant like someone that's like me. Like, where's my skin color? Like, I don't
I
like
gotcha.
if I was black, I would have said the same thing. If there was only like white people, I was like, where's my skin color? I didn't mean like everyone who's not white is weird. Or abnormal.
God damn it, dude. You just dug yourself into a hole.
I think more specifically, Matt did.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to cut that.
Hey Matt, how about the fact you don't date black people?
Because I don't find them attractive. You said the same. You said you wouldn't. You wouldn't. I don't. Okay, I can't. There's nothing wrong
Gotcha,
with the black
bitch.
lady, but I hate you. But like, for my personal preference, I wouldn't date a woman who was black. Like, I just, in the same way, some guys, like, you know, they like different body types or they like different hair colors. Whereas I know Zane would totally date a black chick. He told me that. And
I did once.
Yep. See,
But
he's even done it. He's even dated a black chick. So just.
so all right. So here's my statement on all of that, though. I mean, sexuality is something that can be categorized and classified. The reason why I say that is because, examples, Pornhub. Look at the categories on there. They've classified damn near everything. They've classified body type. They've classified skin tone. They've classified everything. No one's bothered by that because everyone recognizes people are attracted to certain things and they're not attracted to others. That's just how people are. You're not going to change that about somebody. You can't just go up to them and yell like, "You should be attracted to this." It's like, well, I'm not attracted to that. That's just how I am. Like, I'm just.
Gotcha, bitch.
So like if so like for me like so like some people I don't want to go into what I want. I'm not going to. But so I'm not going to go into one. I'm just going to give an example. So like some people don't want bigger girls or just thick girls. Some people do want thick girls. Some people want skinny girls. Some people don't want skinny girls. And so some people want black chicks. Some people want Asian chicks. Some people want white chicks. It's like it's all very much perspective and what you're attracted to. Just
But
because
guess
you're
Guess what? Never have I looked at a curvy girl or a skinny girl and said, I want the normal girl. So you know what, Cody?
Listen, cut the podcast.
I feel
Alright,
so bad for Cody.
I don't want to end it on this. I don't
No,
want
we're
to end
ending
it
on
on
this.
this.
We are not
I'm
ending on
done.
this. We
Yes,
have
we are.
We have to end it on something better.
But this is funny. Yeah.
We can't end it on a note like this. This is too bad. Like,
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Dude, this is our second podcast.
Yeah, it's our second podcast. Who cares?
oh
Maybe we
God.
should publish this
Matt's
one.
already airing out all of my dirty laundry. Taking stuff out of context, making me look like I hate everybody.
No, okay, to be fair, Cody's pretty cool. And he's actually, I heard he has descendants from Africa or something.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Oh, he's cool.
Listen,
Oh, dear God.
how do I'm sure one of my family members are black somewhere, maybe. There.
Somewhere, maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe. I'm sure one of my cousins has probably dated someone who's black.
Alright.
So,
Hopefully.
So,
They didn't at the end of
talking about Africa, because I think one of the games took place there, if I'm not mistaken. Has anyone heard anything about Halo Infinite?
No, I didn't know if they said anything
They
about
haven't
it
said a
yet.
whole lot about it since E3.
Yes, Halo New Mombasa was in Africa. That's Halo.
That's
2
what I
and
thought.
DST. And I think 3, but I'm not sure.
That was a weird section of the game, just because it was very like you were in this city, but they didn't have it was very closed off. Like you didn't have alleys you could really explore or anything like that. It was just like a very closed circuit area, and it was like most of the other maps felt more open, and that map felt very, very like very close and tight.
I think the idea is, though, like, the reason that one was like that is they didn't know how to make it feel like an open, so I think they made it as if it was like a closed environment, even though technically it's an outside. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It was a weird. It was
It,
very
it
linear.
felt like a very weird level, just because of how. It
Now,
was
are we talking about the level in Halo 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what I did like was there was a secret, like, way to go in there where you could, like, jump over the rooftops and shit.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I heard about that.
I use that all the time. There's a bunch of snipers and shit up there.
Is it on
It's-
the remastered edition?
I believe so.
I mean, there's also that gun in Halo 2 where like if you get a Banshee through a tunnel, by breaking off its wings.
Oh my God,
Slowly flying it through, you can get a.
Oh, the
I
scarab
tried
gun.
so hard to do that when I was a kid. I could never get the
What?
fucking Banshee.
I got
to
it
explode.
once. I got it
I
once
never
when I was with
done
my
it.
cousins. I could never get it again because every single time the
Oh.
Banshee would blow up.
Such a pain.
I've never heard of that.
You have to. So there's this one tunnel in the game where if you shoot down a Banshee's wing,
Like at the
it'll
end of
fall.
the bridge?
It's where you get the tank.
Yeah, it's where you get the
Okay,
tank. If you shoot the Banshee's wing, it'll fall, and then you have to go up to it and take the Banshee, then break off its other wing, then slowly fly it through that entire tunnel that you're supposed to take the tank through.
What?
Then get it to the other side of the tunnel without it blowing up, fly it up,
Bungie, man.
fly it all the way through the next area, and then up into this like area that's completely inaccessible and like you'd never go to normally. And then there's this gun that shoots the plasma bolts from the alien tanks. I forget what they're called.
Oh, the Scarab.
Yeah, the Scarab gun. It shoots those at things, and it's infinite ammo.
Do you get it for the rest of the game as long as you keep?
Nope.
Keep playing?
You get to the
Nah,
end of the
just
level,
that
and you're
level.
already almost
It's
at the
a
end of the level.
It's a stationary gun, I believe.
No.
No,
It's
it's
a-
like a plasma rifle.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, you can pick it up and take it
blue.
with you. It's just it
Okay.
only lasts until the end of the level, and then after the end of the level, your gun's reset.
That's boring.
What's
It's
everyone's
pretty
favorite?
awesome.
Speaking of Halo, what's everyone's favorite Halo gun in the entire series?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's hard to
Carbine.
say because
Carbine.
they change the guns
They do.
Well, okay,
like
if it's
each game.
your favorite
like-
one and what version of it, like which game iteration, if they changed it.
I like the carbine from Halo 5.
In Halo, all of them.
Oh, I don't know why I liked it because it's kind of redundant. I love the Maulers in Halo 3. Those like mini shotguns that the brutes had.
that was the only one they were in.
I know those
love-
are so good. They were completely redundant if you had a shotgun, but they were so cool dual wielding them.
Yeah.
'Cause I think they had slightly longer range than the shotgun.
Yeah, they did. But my favorite was the energy sword. It's not a gun,
Oh,
but it was my
energy
favorite
sword's
one.
Oh, that thing was so OP in Halo 2 multiplayer.
Oh
If
yeah,
you ever played with your friends, anyone who picked that up was a fucking asshole.
they
Oh,
were
yeah.
God at that point. It was so fucking
I
impossible.
remember I would like take my Xbox to Zane's house as a kid, and we'd all sit around and play Halo 2, and his brother would always get the sword because he knew exactly
Oh,
where they all
God.
spawned everywhere on the maps.
And
Like, as soon as the map started, he'd rush for it and just kill us the whole time.
And there was the one friend who was a god with the sticky grenades.
That
Yes.
was my
They just
sister.
stick you with
That's
dick
my
from across
sister.
the map. Like,
Yes.
that was your sister, man.
Yeah.
She was
Kristen.
she was awful with those things.
No. At first she was, but then she got to know how to use them, like, after a while, and she became, like, you got her a sticky grenade and a ghost, and you were done for. But here's
Oh,
the thing, she
God.
wouldn't shoot you with the ghost. She mastered the art of running you over with the ghost. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you wouldn't think that'd be a thing you could, like, master, but, like, she was so good at running people over with a ghost and then jumping out and sticking other people with grenades. I can't
oh,
explain.
God. I love the Halo 3 brute weapons, but almost every single one of them was redundant. Like the spike grenades, just the plasma. I love the gravity hammer. I love that thing, but it's literally just a sword that has a little bit of knockback. The Maulers, those were cool, just a shotgun.
Well, I mean, the brute shot was pretty amazing, though.
Brute shot was like the only one that was original,
You mean the
and
ghost
it was
shot?
really good. The spiker, I love the spikers, but those were literally just like another assault rifle type thing.
The chopper was...
The chopper was so good. I love that thing.
Chopper was awesome.
It was almost a little bit harder to run people over with it because the ghost was almost like wider.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
It's
choppers
making
could
me
just
really wanna go play some Halo.
destroy vehicles.
Oh, if you ran people with the chopper, you could like crush warthogs. It was amazing.
Yeah.
'Cause if you hit a warthog head on, they just explode.
How far are we into the recording?
We are an
an
hour
hour
and
and
9
9
minutes.
Not bad. We're
Yeah. I think on
aren't
the destruction of
actually
vehicles with the
out.
chopper. What are you saying, man?
Huh?
Okay, I'm just gonna talk now. I think
Oh,
shut the fuck up! Stop talking when I'm trying to talk. At an hour and 10 minutes, I think we're good to cut it.
Yeah, I think it's about time we wrap it up.
Especially since now we're on Halo, and we're not on something weird.
That was my whole point, and that was to end it on something normal.
All brute lives matter.
Oh,
Brute
Wait,
Lab.
were brutes ever in Halo 5?
Nope.
No.
nope, they were
Did they
not.
ever bring them back? I mean,
Were
they were
they?
in Reach for like one mission.
Were they in Halo 4?
Nope.
Nope,
I don't think so.
not at all.
Actually, did they ever bring back drones? The bug things.
Nope.
They weren't. They were only in 3, and
Oh,
they never
I
came back.
remember that. No, they
No,
were
they
in
were in
2.
No, they were in 2 and they were in 2 and 3, and then they never came back. They never
No,
brought
they
those
were in
back.
Reach. They were in Reach for a split second.
Were they? I don't remember that.
The scene where you're like driving the.
They
warthog
were in
through the lower bottom.
ODST. I
Yeah.
remember them in ODST.
Were they in Reach? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like a split second. I swear. And you were trying to escape to the Pillar of Autumn. There's like this little cave cavern thing you have to jump down into, and they're in there. I swear. I'm not.
I mean, I always hated
No,
drones. So I don't
no,
see why I
he's
care.
right. He's right. I remember that.
Yes.
Oh,
I remember that part.
I always hated them anyway. They were annoying.
It really was just like one tiny section of one mission that they were in there.
I don't get why would they like make all this animation and these models just use them like one time? Like, isn't that a waste? Like,
I mean, it's kind of cool. It's more it world a bit more realistic in a way. I think. No, never mind.
what about those weird? This will be the last one I brought. What about those weird things in Reach? Those like jackal subspecies that didn't use the energy shields, like the jackals, the skirmishers.
All the
Remember
ones who
those
just go up and hit with like a melee and then they were dead.
Yeah, those things are weird. I think their excuse was they went extinct after Reach, though, so they never came back. I think that's literally what they said.
Well, it's easy to do with a prequel game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want extinct. That's funny.
Yeah, like they sent all of them to Reach. Literally every single one in
Why are they the
existence.
ones
No,
that like got all sent? Like, why were they the lucky ones? They didn't like send all the brutes or anything. Like,
Now, I think we also need to point out how hard it would be to like update the brutes for the new engines. Trying to animate all the hair realistically.
well, they made them like bald in Reach, though.
Like the rest of their body.
Yeah. They're
They had,
covered
like-
in hair. They're
Not-
gorillas.
In Reach, though, they just had armor on. They were just bald.
They find a way to do it.
They didn't even like look like they looked awful in
I
Reach.
thought
They
it
didn't
was-
look like brutes. They looked like they didn't look like apes. They just looked like these weird like ball sack aliens. They're horrible.
What was this? So, like in Halo 5, they brought back all the old weapons from the franchise, except they didn't bring back any of the brute weapons.
I
I
know
thought
they
that was the
hate
weirdest
brutes.
thing. They just like got rid of them. They just don't want them anymore. What a brutal reality.
Fucking end it. Stop. End
Yep,
it.
that's
End
it.
Cut it.
Thanks
I'm-
for tuning into the Last Thought podcast.
Oh my god,
See you
that's the
next time.
shittiest last thought.
All right,
Alright.
stop the recording.
Alright, see you guys.
See ya.